Hello YouTube, and welcome to my tutorial series, Tutorial Tuesday, for making jewelry. And today I am going to make a necklace for you, and I'm going to show you how to make a stylish pendant with gemstones, a shell, and some wire and jump rings. The necklace is going to be on a chain, so I'm going to go through the materials we need, and that is 3 rectangular shaped gemstones. They're already polished and they already have a hole drilled. 10 jump rings. I already have 2 on my lobster clasp, 1 lobster clasp with the connecting end. 5 of these looped pins. These look like they're about 2 inches, so about 5 centimeters, and some silver chain. It doesn't matter what kind of silver chain, just whatever you like the best. And we're going to measure that to our neck, so I'm not sure on the exact length that is, because I just made the pendant first and then I measured the chain for my neck. I have 2 daisy rhinestone beads. I have 1 elongated shell, and I like this because it's got a lot of coloration as well as the other gemstones do. And it's a shell, it's a polished shell. It's already drilled up here at the top, and so when it hangs down from a necklace it looks kind of like a tooth, so that's why I like that. And I've got about 2 inches or 5 centimeters of 20 gauge wire. And now our tool set, our snips. We've got the round nose pliers, and those are going to be used for rounding our pens. We've got the flat nose pliers, and we've got the needle nose or chain nose. Some people call those chain nose pliers when we're making jewelry. So we have our normal jewelry set. And first what I'm going to do is show you how to make your beads. So I've already got a loop on one end, and you could do this with just regular wire, and then you could make 2 loops, or you can get the looped pins and just make a loop similar to that. Now my round nose pliers will be necessary, as well as my chain nose pliers for this step. So I'm going to make that 90-degree bend. Right there. I'm going to use my round nose pliers, and I'm going to put that between them. And I'm just going to wrap that down. And I'm going to wrap it all the way around. Flatten it out a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and make it a little smaller. Flatten that out a little bit. Kind of make sure I keep that good form that I like to have. And I'm just going to snip that off. A little piece of excess left, but this little tiny piece of excess probably won't be useful for anything, so I will just need. So then I'm just going to use my 2 sets of pliers, or 3 sets of pliers really, to shape that the way I want it. And it doesn't have to be exactly the same size as the other side. And I'm going to do that with all 3 of these, so I'm going to end up having 3 of these rectangular beads on a pen. And then I'm going to connect these 3 by adding a jump ring, and I have an open jump ring here, and I'm going to add a jump ring in between each of them. So I'm going to put 2 on there. Connected, and then I'm going to put 2 on here, so they're connected. Just like that, and remember, you close your jump rings and open them by, sometimes I use my fingers, but you can see it better if I use the pliers and show you that motion again. You can hold with one side, so I'm going to hold with this one, the flat nose, and then with your chain nose just pull it toward you. And then when you close it, go away from you. So you can go towards or away. And I've got those 3 connected now, so I'm going to push that off to the side. Now I'm going to show you how to make some small loops for our centerpiece to hang off of. And you're just going to make a loop on each end. So I did that by starting by making 90-degree angle or perpendicular to the way it started. I'm going to get the tip right up there near the end because I want my loops to be similar size. And you just loop that around until you get a nice round loop. And we're going to do the same thing on the other end. And I'm going to make 4 of these loops. And I'm going to put these loops, and one's about 1 1/4 inch, and I'm going to make 4 of those. So now you can see I have 2 different sizes. So I have 2 long ones, and I'll have 2 small ones, and then I'm going to connect a long one and a small one. And I'm not going to put any beads on these because there just isn't room in the design that I've come up with. And you can connect these to each other just like you would a jump ring. So you do that same motion where you're grabbing each end of the pin loop, and then you're holding with one end. So you can hold with either set of pliers. So this time I'm going to hold with the needle nose or chain nose pliers, and you can pull towards or either away from yourself. So this time I'm going to do away from myself. I'm going to put that other pin on, which I've already done on the other end, and then I'm going to pull it back towards myself, and I have 2 connected, and I'm going to do that 2 times. So you can see I have a big one and a small one on both of these. And then I'm going to set those to the side, and I'm going to show you, and then we're going to do the same thing with our daisies. So we're going to use our loop or a piece of scrap metal or other metal. I used scrap metal for the daisies because they were smaller, and I did make 2 of those on loops. And I'm going to set those aside. And now we're ready for our centerpiece. So I have the centerpiece that's drilled at the top. It's going to hang down like that in the middle of the necklace. I have a piece of 2 inch or 5 centimeters long 20 gauge wire. I'm going to put that through, and I do want to pull it closer to one side than I want it to be to the other. And then I'm going to pull that up and around that bead. This is actually a shell, just like that, to the center. Then I'm going to put pull that down a little more. I want it to be down like that. So I'm going to put my little bend in the wire that's going to go up, so the longer side. And I'm going to bring this side kind of down there. So these are perpendicular. There's a 90-degree angle there. I'm going to hold that, and I'm going to pull it up and get it started twisting around. And sometimes it's easier if I use my flat nose pliers for this step. And I'm just going to pull that end around that straight piece, the longer, straighter piece of wire. I'm going to keep pulling it around it and pull it around and push them together. I like to push my loops together. So I want that loop to actually be down next to the wire, like that. And then I'm going to keep wrapping that until I get to the end of it. keep pushing it together on both the front and the back so it stays nice and close and looped. I'm going to just keep pushing it until I get the end in so that the end is not going to scratch the person. And I'm just going to loop that in until I get it all the way looped, and you can see that go in. So you can see that loop there. Then I'm going to use my round nose pliers. Actually, I'm going to use my flat nose pliers. I'm going to leave a little space so I can loop the bottom in. So just about how much I left there, I'm going to leave at the top, and then I'm going to make my bend where I get my 90-degree angle. And sometimes I got that bend there, and then we're going to use our round nose pliers. I want it to kind of be a bigger loop, kind of similar to the size of our jump rings. So I'm just going to completely wrap that all the way around. Continue to wrap that around there, just like I did on the bottom. I use my flat nose pliers. I'm going to keep that pushed up there until I get all the way to that end. Completely finished. It looks something like this. And I want to get my loop where it's facing, I want this part facing out, so I want my loop facing forward. The part that I want forward, I want to be able to see the circle. And I'm going to put that on a jump ring. I'm going to put that, close that jump ring there and set that aside. So I have a couple pieces now to put together. I have this, I have the daisies, I have centerpiece, and I have these here. So there's my design. So I'm going to go ahead and connect all of this using jump rings, and I'm going to put one there. I'm going to also put one these on each side of it. Connect that. So I've already put jump rings down here. I'm going to connect my daisies at the end of this chain of beads. And you could finish this out by adding as many other beads around like this as you wanted, or empty links like that as you wanted, or you could do every other one a bead and empty link, or you could put out a pattern of beads all the way around it. You pretty much do whatever you want, really. So I've got that line of beads there, and I've got these two here. So I'm going to actually open this, and I'm going to put that here. Close it. And I'm going to open this, and I'm going to put that here and close it. It's starting to take shape. So that's my pendant. That's my centerpiece there. And then I'm just going to take the centerpiece, and I'm going to put a jump ring on both ends, so on both ends of the daisies that don't already have a jump ring on there or anything connected to it. And that's where I'm going to add my chain. So let's go ahead and put those two jump rings there on. So I've added my 2 jump rings and I've left those open. Then I'm just going to add the chain from the spool onto one of those jump rings. And close it. I'm going to measure that around my neck until it's the appropriate length, and I'm going to add that other end at the appropriate length. I'm going to cut it or take out a length and have it at the appropriate length. Close those jump rings. I'm going to measure my chain and find the center, and that's where I'm going to add my clasp by closing the 2 jump rings that I've already added to my lobster clasp. So you can see that I've done that. And then I have the finished necklace. A stylish new centerpiece or pendant. That I can wear out. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more jewelry tutorials.